Welcome to I Heart Geek.
And welcome to another episode of I Heart Geek, the cosplay edition. I'm kind of cosplayed up a little bit today. I got my Green Lantern shirt.
I'm not sure that really counts.
We can see that now.
He's wearing a hat and a shirt, so he's cosplay.
I'm with the hat. I'm kind of cosplaying as Sean.
And the beard.
And the beard. My beard is not as glorious. Don't mention it in the same sentence. I feel bad about that.
Not as good as the glorious beard of the Sean.
We don't want to nestle in my beard. His beard, it's
okay.
So today's show is brought to you by Fabric. So much fabric.
And sparkles.
It's a lot of work. Oh my gosh. So let's do the quick introductions to the show. I am Dub, and I am your producer.
I'm Miss Geeky Paige, and I'm your Instagram girl.
Wow, that just sounded so...
Right.
That sounds so
That's why I did it that way. That's why I did it that way.
Oh, is it me?
Yes, it's you today. Guest gets introduced last.
I am Blythe, and I am the tech guy. As you guys hopefully can see, we'll have this up on YouTube as an actual video.
Yeah, so we're all getting used to the camera, so I apologize.
Yep.
We're going to be acting probably a little more than we used to. And now we have a special guest from the video portions of us.
Hi.
Yeah. We have Miss Pixie. How are you doing today?
I am fantastic and happy to be here.
Pixie Pool.
Pixie Pool.
Yeah,
She's in her
I got my little
Deadpool, so
Deadpool
she's
on.
Pixie Pool today.
I can't get the thing over the hood, but it's okay.
The thing over the hood. I don't even know what to say to that one.
It's got eyes on it.
Oh, she can't get, yeah. We can still call you Pixie Pool.
Still Pixie
Okay,
Pool.
I'll take it.
So welcome to Show Up. We figured this would be a good one to start you out with because this is what you do.
Yes.
So let's actually discuss that just for a second or two. What kind of cosplay is your experience level?
Anime Expo, which
Anime Expo.
apparently I pale in comparison. I am on a 1 where everybody else is walking in at 192 on a scale of 1 to 10.
Would you say they're over 9,000?
Yes, they are over 9,000.
Wah wah. Okay. So. Wow. I used to be able to look away, I can talk and blah blah. And this is going to be really weird. So I apologize if I'm not that interesting on
There's
camera.
hand gestures we usually use, guys, when you can't see us.
Okay, so let's kind of discuss the intro into the gorgeous world of cosplay. It started out with people that were just putting on their Halloween costumes. You know, the little plastic ones with the mask, and I miss those. And now it's just turned into this huge multi-billion-dollar-a-year industry. What do you guys? What's the appeal of cosplay? I think that's a good thing to start out with.
Ooh.
I think it's the characters coming to life.
Mm-hmm.
Some people do these cosplays, and they're so intricate, and they're so... Like, you can tell that these people poured not just their money into it, but, like, their time and just their heart into it. And, yeah, it's really some things, whether it's a movie or a comic book, it's straight out of that medium that you love.
I agree with that 100%. And the other thing, too, is I've seen a lot of people... Again, I've gone to a few of the conventions. I've seen so many people go in there, and they have their heart and soul into the character that they... connected with, they bonded with, they feel they can be just like that character, and that is, you see that. You see that when they walk around and they act just like that character. They're not just wearing the costume because they love the character, they are being the character. I have seen some of the coolest superheroes act even cooler than some of the superheroes in the comic books. Like, woohoo!
Yeah. I think it's the sense of connection. Exactly. I don't cosplay, but I
wish I did.
I wish I did, and I enjoy seeing the creativity and the skill level that goes into a lot of the stuff that cosplayers do. As a costumer, I'm always just amazed by what they can pull off with, whether it be plastic or sequins or stretch or whatever. It's just I love the creativity, and I think it's the connectivity. You're connecting with something that you love by getting to dress up as it.
Yep.
Yeah,
Nice.
for sure.
Okay, so we'll get back on this in a minute, but now we get to go to the game show.
Here's a generic game show for you.
Okay, so Courtney, you have a game show for us that is super duper hard, and we're all gonna look really stupid.
I try to make it super easy, and
You lied.
You're
Yes.
the worst.
I like normally I intentionally try to give you guys the hardest questions when I do these, but I try to find easy ones, but there's just not a lot of easy cosplay questions. So, number 1, where does the term cosplay come from? So I'm going to go with our guest, Miss Pixie Pool. Pixie Pool, where did it come from?
Cosplay, the term I know came from costume play acting, very similar to live action role playing when you LARP. But I don't actually know where it came from other than just wearing a festival costume during the Renaissance time frame. They would always dress up in many medieval costumes with masks and everything like that, and it continued on from there as far as I knew.
I'll buy it.
You're partially right, because it does come from costume play, so I will give you the point for that, but the rest of it is not actually correct.
Really?
But costume play is right.
I put costume play in.
Yep, close enough.
I put costume play, and I'm guessing it came from kids in Halloween.
Actually, according to what I read, it comes from the Japanese word kasupure, which means
Yeah, nobody
basically
knows that.
costume play. It's an English portmanteau of costume play. It was coined in 1984 at Worldcon
That long
by
ago?
Nobuaki Tashihashi.
Wow.
Try saying that 4 times fast.
Right, I can't even say
I'm
it.
guessing they dressed as Voltron.
They didn't say. It didn't say. But it also there is reference to costume play or costume dressing up as far back as the 1930s World Fair by sci-fi artists. But that's where they're saying it technically came from, was the Japanese word. And I apologize to anybody who speaks Japanese if I said it wrong.
Because we did.
Yeah.
We can all guarantee that.
Yeah, I said it wrong completely. Number 2. What is Away's cosplay? What does that mean? Pixie Pool.
So I believe it means animations walking alive somehow everywhere.
I'll take it. It's not right, but that's a cool answer.
No, she gets points on that one. 'cause
You
nobody
get
thought that.
I give creativity points, so you get a creativity point for that. Lies.
I said that it was a way of describing cosplay that's done on the cheap.
I think that's a really cool answer. It's not right, but it's a cool answer.
I just thought it was something like anime cosplay.
It literally means a group of cosplayers who dress according to a certain theme.
Which ironically is one of my top 5
I know,
lists.
I know.
How did I not know that?
Okay,
I wouldn't have
number
known.
3. How much do cosplay costume manufacturers in Japan report in profits a year, either in yen or dollars? Pixie?
I'm going to go with dollars and I'm going to say 11 billion.
No.
11 billion?
11 billion. No. Not quite that much.
I put
Lies.
$3 billion. A $3 billion industry.
You'd be kind of close.
I said a metric poop ton.
Metric poop ton always works because we always have to
Once
get
a
it in.
podcast, people. Once a
It's-
If it's
podcast.
not,
You
you
know.
know.
Exactly. It's 35 billion yen, but it's $3 million.
Really?
Really?
Yeah.
Only
That's
$3
it?
million?
Yeah.
Wow.
I figured, but that's only in Japan. So,
that's
and
true.
it's the pre-made stuff. So,
Yeah,
Okay.
most of them do their own.
yeah, the industry's probably a whole lot bigger. This is just the pre-made cosplay manufacturers in Japan.
I totally don't have 2 of those.
Right. Okay. When was where? Blah, blah, blah. Let me try that without stuttering like a dork. Every podcast. When were working weapons banned at cosplay events? And I'll give you an extra point if you can tell me why. And I'll take an approximation, so you don't have to give me the exact date.
I was actually going to give you the reason why because I don't remember which
That's
event it
fine. I'll
was.
give you a point for that.
I thought it was at Comic-Con, but I'm not sure on that one. If I'm not mistaken, the original reason was because 2 people cosplaying were sword fighting, and one of the swords accidentally stabbed the other person. So people are allowed to bring fake weapons as long as they check them in and they're tagged as a fake weapon now. I don't know that from personal experience.
That would be a good answer, and it's along the lines of really what happened, but that's not actually the reason why. Dang it. There was a specific reason why they said no more of this stuff.
Interesting. My answer was the time period was around the release of Highlander, and it's because
'Cause there could only be
everyone
one.
was trying to be the only one.
I like
Lot
that
of beheading.
answer.
That's a great
That's
answer.
creativity
That is
points
awesome.
right there.
I just thought it happened when I Heart Geek took the air because nothing could be as awesome as that.
As
so
us. We are a weapon of mass geek destruction.
I think we've destroyed the geek industry in general.
Can you do
so
geek
I'm guessing that's why.
The massive
Destruction.
geek destruction.
Massive
Oh,
destruction.
there we go. I love it.
So I'm guessing that's not the right answer.
No,
though.
it's not the right answer. It was actually in 1972 at a con. So it
That
was at a
long
con.
ago?
It was at a
Yeah,
con.
1972. Someone had actually a real blaster that fired flames.
That's amazing.
And that's why they said no more working weapons anymore.
So did
Sucks.
anyone actually get hurt, or they just were anticipating?
It didn't say.
Okay.
It probably scared the snot out of a bunch of people because all of a sudden you
thrower into a crowd.
right. And remember, like this is pre-Star Wars and everything. So like
that was like
74,
Buck
yeah.
Rogers.
yeah, like a Buck Rogers that like shot of flames at people.
I was
So
gonna say, yeah, they make you check in, like, even the toy stores that you buy there.
Yeah.
Like, I have a Keyblade that
Yeah.
I bought at one of the conventions, and they were like, no, you have to check that in. And I said, it's a Keyblade. Like, what am I going to do with the Keyblade?
Yep.
And they're like, I don't care if you bought it.
Have you seen what Sora does with the Keyblade?
I mean, I have seen what am I going to do? I can't even hold it. It's like 40 pounds of just pure metal. It was really awesome.
they do the same thing at Renaissance Fair.
Renfest,
You
yeah.
have to have everything has to be piece tied, and you can't untie it
Yep.
because you're busted if you do.
Yeah.
All right, so the final one. So let's get. Everybody's got 1 point.
What will remain is 1
hopefully,
point.
hopefully some of these. So I have several names on this list, and I will give you a point for any of these names that you come up with that's on this list. Just name me some famous cosplayers, and we decided at the beginning I will take names of famous people who have cosplayed, and it has been announced to the universe that they're cosplaying. So Pixie Pool, you are first.
So when you, this is actually one for you, Dub.
Okay.
So when Ryan Reynolds was going to do information for both roles that he did, he actually said that he had gone to the conventions in costume so no one would recognize him. So
Yep.
I would assume that he's on that list.
Yep, you
And
got a point for
also-
that one.
I can't remember her first name. I think I messed it up. But someone Conrad. I remembered seeing her doing some cosplay before.
I don't have anything by that with somebody
like,
with
I
the
have a-
last name of Conrad.
Dang it. I was like, I know she's done stuff before. I've seen it. I want to say Holly. Don't
I
judge
don't
me
know
on
the
that.
name.
Like I said, there was only one that I knew. So
Yeah, you get one for Ryan Reynolds because that's one I had on there. Now, granted, just so everyone knows, this list is not exhaustive. It's just people that I was able to remember off the top of my
So
head
it just
and
happens to be
look
the
up.
lucky ones that you get.
Right, and I mean, I have a huge. I mean, there's like
And she'll probably change your mind if it's something
there's
really
like
cool.
10 or 12 answers on here. Yeah, if you can give me one and I remember, oh yeah, that's right, then I'll give it to you too. So I'm cool with that.
So I have 3 people that kind of fall under the same thing as Ryan Reynolds. And I believe they all did this at Comic-Con. I think Tom Holland did Spider-Man. He walked around in Spider-Man costume.
That was Andrew Garfield.
It was actually
Was it
Andrew Garfield, but that was a good guess.
I was like, he does do that, though,
I
now.
know this one for a fact. Bryan Cranston
Yep.
walked around in the
Yep.
Walter White mask.
he
Yep.
did.
And I think Macy Williams, she didn't cosplay as Arya, but she cosplayed
She
as
did
something.
cosplay. Yep, I had her on
Yeah.
there too.
Yeah, so I
so
had
that's
those 3.
2 for you.
Yeah.
Nice. Dub.
Okay, I put Margot Robbie because that's her whole career now is cosplaying as Harley Quinn. Maybe? No. Okay.
Unfortunately, she is the role. I don't think she.
Yeah, I mean, there's
cosplays
no
outside of
Fair
Margot
enough.
Robbie. There's just Harley Quinn.
Okay, Adrienne Belew, who was married to Peter Brady. She's
It's Adrian Curry, but I
Curry,
know
but
who
you
you're
know who I
talking about,
was
so I
talking about.
will
Okay,
give you
yes.
that one.
And I put Bryan Cranston because
Yep.
of that. And the guy that played Jesse because he dressed as Walter White while Walter White dressed as him for
I didn't know about that one.
I just saw the picture.
Sounds
but that's all I
like
got.
fake news.
Okay,
Oh, jeez.
so
Okay, young man.
what that ends up doing is giving Pixie Pool 2.
I'm
Nice
fine
job.
with that. Thank you.
Dub and Blaze, you are tied at 3
So
because
we
of
get
your
to-
do we get to
cosplayer
fight?
ones. Yeah, we're gonna Thunderdome later.
Yes.
Nice. Shirtless, of course.
I will dress
'Cause
as
nobody wants to
Anti-Entity,
see
and
that.
you can be Furiosa.
Okay, perfect.
And we will just, 2 men enter, 1 geek leaves. So, okay. So that's where we're at, guys. And those of you who are playing along at home, let us know how many you got right. I
Yeah.
always like to know.
Nice. Okay, so let's move on a little bit, and this one will kind of probably get a lot to Miss Pixie here, but like, what are some of the do's and don'ts, not only with dealing with cosplayers, but like dealing with costumes and all that. I mean, just off the top of your head, what are some of these? And we can all talk about this, but what are kind of some of the do's and don'ts as far as cosplayers in general? Because I know it's a pretty tight knit community.
Oh yes. No. It's funny because it seems like a lot of people are like, oh no, I don't want to be a cosplayer. They seem too intense. They're actually the nicest people you ever know. Yeah. You walk up to them, you're like, I love the outfit. That's great. Did you make it yourself? And most of them will say yes. There are a bunch that'll be like, no, I bought it. And
They're not cosplayers, are they?
They still are.
Yeah.
Okay.
They put effort in other ways, buying more accessories and things to go with it. No, but surprisingly enough, it's a very awesome community. And I've only been to a few of the conventions, so I'm not, 100% integrated into it. But one of my favorite things that I learned was actually the wig tips. You ask some of them, like, okay, my wig's not staying on. How do I get it to stay on? And they're like, oh, cool. Let me just come over here. I'll tell you the secrets. And I'm like, oh, we're going to go do secret time. Okay. And they will actually tell you all of their trade tips, their secrets. They won't tell you, like, every aspect of it, but if you're having a problem, they want to help you. And it's really nice. I actually almost worked at a boba shop a boba shop out here where we were all going to dress up in our favorite anime costumes, and we were just sharing tips, showing each other the costumes we wanted to make versus the ones we had. And it's just that camaraderie that you get because you're with somebody else that wants to dress up and play act, be somebody else for the day.
To bounce off of what Pixie said about some people buying their thing and you saying they're not really cosplayers, a lot of people that I know who have cosplayed multiple times will say they made their first costume, but their second one they buy pieces because it's
hard.
It's hard. There's a lot of time and a lot of effort. Some people it's like a part-time job for them because they put the entire year into one costume that they can play at that one event.
Yeah, well, that's not something I think you can use a lot.
No, yeah. And some of them are so intricate. I went to a few BlizzCons. Company, Blizzard, the company that makes World of Warcraft. And there was this one person, I believe it's from Diablo, but it's like a spider.
Oh.
Like a spider demon or queen.
Leandra or something like that. Yep.
But this person made an entire rig where she was like 10 feet off the ground because the legs were... It was if the character was to scale. And she was literally on like a motor rig, like riding through the thing. It was intense. But yeah, like there's just... At some point, I think people are just like, I want to keep doing this, but I don't have the time anymore.
Yeah.
After one.
Yeah, after
There's
one.
a Sci-Fi a couple years ago did this great TV show called
Face Off.
No, that's the makeup industry, which is very cool too, by the way. But no, I think this one only lasted like 1 or 2 seasons.
Oh,
it was called
Sherry.
It's called Heroes of Cosplay.
Yeah.
And it was a reality TV show, and it was literally following people like Yaya Han and Ivy Doom Kitty and Ricky Riddle as they were doing their costumes for cons and going through the con circuit. And I mean, that was probably my first experience into how intricate and how much work cosplay is for people.
Yeah.
Because I do costumes for theater, and it doesn't take me that long to create the stuff that they do. But I don't have to have it as intricate as, like, say, a cosplayer would, because a lot of times it's from a distance, so I can leave off some of the details and what have you. Yeah. And so if anybody wants to watch it, I think you can get it on Prime, or you can probably get episodes on YouTube or whatever.
Sci-Fi
it's
channel has them too.
It's absolutely fascinating. Like with the Yaya Han, she had something that was very similar to that, where she does some of these anime characters, and it's just, I don't know how she puts these together, and she slaps them together in a month or two because she does the whole circuit of cons, and that's how she makes her money is doing cons.
Well, I think it's a different skill set. Like the guys that created the Stormtrooper. I think it was probably easier for them because they didn't have to have these exacting standards. They said, okay, I like this. This is what's going on. When you're trying to do an exact replica, I think it's a lot more work. I could be wrong on that, but it seems like it's really hard.
Oh, no, you're not. It's definitely more work. I will say the YouTube videos and tutorials and these people that just go through their processes for weapons, costumes, anything, you name it. Oh my gosh, these people are talented.
Yeah.
They can rig LEDs and then make a weapon out of wood. And I'm like, how?
That's how I figured out how to make, because I went to a costume party where I was a steampunk strong woman from a circus, and I did a Winter Soldier arm.
Oh, cool.
And that's how I figured out how to do the Winter Soldier's arm. Is I went to YouTube and go, how do you make a Winter Soldier arm? And it was all these tutorials on an easy way to do it. So if I had to figure it out myself, I'm not sure I would have figured it out.
And even nowadays, you have things like 3D printing that's more available to you.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
But just getting a 3D printer is not enough. Like, you have to, and I'm going through this right now with mine,
dimensions.
You have to learn how to design these things.
Yeah.
And it's it's a lot harder to 3D model things than I think people think. Like, you're literally doing what like car companies do for like concept art and things like that. You have to learn how to 3D model, and then you have to be able to tweak it so that you can actually print it out. And for somebody put the amount of time in it is just to learn how to do that is crazy.
Oh, here's a question as far as the do's and don'ts. When you're doing pictures with cosplay girls, yes, don't put your hand on their butt, blah blah blah. Don't be a pig. Where are you supposed to put your hands when you're doing pictures like that for awkward geek types?
I mean, even I have moments where you don't want to ruin the costume or you don't want to do anything wrong. I've definitely gone for the simple, just put the hand on the back and just be like lean close in and have your hand right in the middle of their back. Yeah. If they don't have a back, user's choice at that point. No.
Don't say that now.
No, like there's been times where I've seen people do shoulders, like they'll hold each other's shoulders and they'll stand there. It's like, it just depends on, if you're doing a cutesy picture with I do cutesy pictures. If you're doing a cutesy picture with another person in costume, you want to do it so you're not affecting their costume, first and foremost. Second is comfort. Because one, a lot of those costumes aren't comfortable to begin with. Like, how do you hug a poison ivy when there's just the leaves
and stuff.
That's why I say I always go for the back, because it's a safe spot.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, I think you'd just be courteous to the cosplayer themselves.
I mean, don't be a dirtbag.
I know you're trying
sometimes
to...
we need to define a little better.
No, not just in that
common
way.
Sense isn't always common.
Definitely be courteous to them in that way, but like you were saying, take their costume into account. Like, sometimes you may just have to stand next to them and do a thumbs up, or just like a pose. Like, maybe make yourself pose. If you're posing with someone who's dressed like a ninja from Naruto, do the
that's a good one too. One of the ones that's scary is when they have wings.
Yeah, or the running pose.
When they have wings. There was a Charizard that went to one of the cons recently. Awesome costume. She made it all herself, but her wings pop out.
Yeah.
Oh, it's terrifying for a second because you just hear "Kwa-cha!" and you're like, ah. But you can't really walk up behind them and be like, hey, like you just have to be like.
Yeah. Or with the posing thing, you could both just be like, ah.
That's true. Yes.
So yeah, I think it's just.
So do cosplayers want to have their picture taken, or does it get like really old? I think that's a fair question, because I know let's be honest, you are doing it for attention. If you're doing it, that's fine, and that's not a judgment. But I said, when is?
See, and I don't necessarily. I think some people do it for attention, but I don't think if you're trying to cosplay, you're not necessarily looking 100% for attention.
I'm not saying that as an insult.
No, 100%. Yeah, I know, I get that. But I think that there's some people who are doing it because they want to, like Pixie said, they want to live in that character. They want to feel what it's like to be in that character's shoes for that amount of time. But I think, to your question, from what my experience, I've never met a cosplayer who wasn't okay with taking a picture. Yeah, I've met with some who are on their way to like something that they need to be to, and they don't have time to take a picture. But I've never gone up to one and be like, "Hey, can I take a picture with you?" And they're just like, "No, so, this is for me. This is." But
basically, in con, it's okay. If you're not in con, it might be iffy.
Yeah.
If you're not in con and they're in full cosplay and no convention has been going on for the past,
Then you
couple
might
weeks.
wanna
Then
call
there's
somebody,
something
yeah.
else going on. I think with that, just agreeing too, it's most of them are putting time and effort into these. Absolutely take a picture.
Yeah.
If they don't want a picture, they'll gladly say so. But if you just try and sneak a photo with them in the background, that's usually an insult. That's the biggest disrespect to them. Is it's like, oh my God, look, I'm at a picture and look who's in the background. Like, ask them. Just walk up. They're actually, like I said, they're the nicest group of people. Unless they don't speak English, then they're like, huh?
But I think they still get the international symbol of the camera.
Yes, that's a...
So if you're wanting to get into cosplay, what do you need to take to account? I mean, the cost is depending on how intricate you go, but let's say starter level everything. What are we looking at money wise? What are we looking at materials, time, and how do you find that right character for you? We were talking about that earlier. We all want to dress as things, but maybe we don't fit.
You do have to do research of your own, time and place. I would love to dress up as half the characters out there, and I can't. I can't do some of the characters I'd love to do, but I won't get into that. A lot of times you do have to do research, like, is the height appropriate for me? Is the hair appropriate for me? Can I make the hair appropriate for me, hence wigs and things? Is there a trick to this? Can I do this cheaply? And my first cosplay was a Harley Quinn one, and I budgeted myself. Somebody had done, I was really mad because I wanted to have all three of us, but it wasn't going to work. Somebody did Harley Quinn with Poison Ivy and Black Cat, all in ballet. One was a ballet costume, one was they were all dancing. Like a hip-hop costume, and one was like a 1920s like something other. And I was like, oh, that'd be great. And Harley Quinn was the ballet costume, so I went in a full Harley Quinn ballet costume, and I spent about $50.
That's not bad.
And I was protruding glitter everywhere. My boyfriend at the time hated me for it.
Yeah.
The con loved me. They were like, oh my God, it's like a glitter trail.
Like,
I know where to
yay.
find you. But the next one I did, I spent significantly more money on, but I budgeted properly. And you have to find resources. I ended up finding sections and pieces because the first one I made myself. And I was like, I'm good. I don't want to do this anymore. But I found this piece online. It was a great top piece, and it's actually a Renaissance Harley Quinn that I wear to our Ren Fair here. And I have so much fun wearing it. I need to get a better wig though.
So what general things do you have to know to get into it?
Research. Honestly, 100%. There's blogs out there that'll tell you where to start for, how deep you want to go into it. So some people, I have naturally red hair. Okay, I'm going to be Ariel from The Little Mermaid. I'm going to be Poison Ivy from... Okay, it's great that you've now picked a character. Now, what do you need to make the costume real? So something like Poison Ivy, are you really just going to wear leaves stuck to your body? Or are you going to put on a nude suit and then stick the leaves to the nude suit? Yeah. And then at that point, are you going to be doing it while you're wearing it? Or do you want to have a body to do it on? And there's so many layers to it. So 100% research.
I think there's different levels to it too, because you may want to do a bunch of cosplay, but then want to try something simple to see if you even like walking around a convention for however many hours in whatever kind of costume. I mean, you could do something as simple as getting an orange vest and putting on Village Hidden in the Leaves headband to emulate Naruto. There's some people out there that they just want to do it for fun, and it doesn't matter about the extravagancy of it. You can have a 13-year-old kid that loves Spider-Man and rigs up their own version of Peter Parker's Spider-Man suit from the original trilogy. That just sweatpants with a mask with the marker on it, which is awesome. You could do that for like $20, $30 or whatever. So I think it's just a matter of what you want to do, how much time do you have, and trying something simple first off. Because if you you'd spend all this money and time into building an Iron Man suit, and then you go into a convention, Conventions are hot. Conventions
Oh,
are mucky.
man.
Oh.
You walk in there 20 minutes in, you're like, this is the worst.
It's sardines in a can.
Exactly.
And by the third day, you cosplayers start to smell a little funny. As someone who's been to conventions and have admired cosplayers and been to conventions on the third or fourth day and gone, oh, I don't need a
That's
picture.
funky.
Yeah.
I
So-
appreciate your costume, and I'd normally get a picture, but you smell a little ripe.
Yeah. So could
Yeah,
you imagine?
invest in some Febreze. That's all I have to say.
So people will do the same cosplay for all 3 days, or do they usually switch it up?
These people were.
Some people, it depends. Some people I have seen, I think a good way to joke about this one, TikTok just got back from one of their conventions or whatever, and they did a whole thing, and all these people on TikTok are posting videos from the convention. And some of them bring 12 different costumes and only wear 2. Some of them bring 3 costumes and wear all 3 for all 3 days they're there. And you see it because they'll take a picture of the first day, and then they'll take a video, and then they'll take the picture and a video of the second day, and a picture and a video of the third day. Yes, I use TikTok. I don't make videos. I just like watching because it gives me inspiration. But it's fun to see people when they come in. They have you go in with a plan, 100%. You're like, oh, this is a point A. I'm going only to this section. And like any kid in a candy store would do, there's just so much wonder and awe. Like I went to the Anime Expo and the Blizzard Con was there. Like they had an entire booth dedicated to Blizzard. I didn't know that was there. That was a bad day. I spent way too much money in that area. I was like, I need to leave. But you don't plan when you go in for surprises. Sometimes the surprise can be that your costume needs repair, or has a stain, or so for cosplayers it just depends. Some of them can wear the same costume for 3 days, and some of them are like, this is why I brought 12.
Fair enough. So, with the very voyeuristic nature of the geek community in general, what do you guys like to see when you're looking at cosplay? What is like, oh my gosh, that's interesting, that's cool. Either style or just like techniques, or some people like the cool makeup, some people like the video game stuff. What are you guys into?
I just like the creativity that people come into it. I can tell you that when somebody does a sexy version of something, I will tune that cosplay right out.
Yep.
Because it's not necessary. But if you show up, like if that Charizard had walked up with me with those movable wings, I would have been, okay, let's check this bad boy out.
Right.
Because I like to see the imagination and the skill level and the creativity that people come up with in it. Like, I mean, there was one cosplayer who did the Cinderella dress, but they ran LED lights through it.
Oh, that's cool.
And so the skirt actually lit up as she spun around. And I'm like, I never would have thought of something like that. And I'm like, that's amazing to me. So I dig that kind of stuff that just what they can come up with. That's
Nice.
what I like to see.
Yeah, I like to see the light stuff.
Yeah.
When people throw LED stuff on, it's a winner.
Yeah, like somebody had a Tron suit, not traditional Tron, but Tron Legacy. One of the girls, not Korra, but the white.
ones.
Yeah, I
I
can't
know what
remember
you're
what they're.
talking about.
And
The ones
but,
that fitted him with the...
yeah, who gave him the ID disc and everything, and I think I saw it on a con video of her at a con. She couldn't get the thing to light up when she went on stage for the competition, so it was just her in a gray bodysuit.
Yeah.
But as soon as she walked off stage, it lit up. So it's like there's also
malfunctions.
malfunctions and
Yeah.
whatnot. But when it was lit up, it was amazing to see. So
What about you, Blythe?
I like to see things that are you take a certain idea and then you make it into something else, like doing like Disney princesses, but they're all like
Post-apocalyptic.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. Like
Yeah,
something like
I dig
Oh,
that.
that'd be
or
fun.
And that's a whole different level of creativity.
yeah, exactly. Like
Like
I
mashups?
yeah, like mashups and
I did a
things like
steampunk
that. That
aerial
would be-
one time.
See, things like that are awesome because it's just you have so many people who can dress up as a certain type of thing, and there's costumes out there that are already made for that.
Yeah.
But to take something that exists and to mash it into something else is awesome. I also love like anime cosplay, just because I read manga and I watch animes and things like that, and to see the really good ones where those characters really come to life is always awesome.
I like the creativity of the weapons. I'm not going to lie. Now, I do love the mashups. Mashups are awesome. I've seen some girls do like a Snow White Boba Fett thing, and I was like, all right, I'm in love. I don't even know who you are, but I love you. But they put so much creativity in these things. But when you see someone with a homemade weapon, it's just epic.
Yeah.
Just something that they made out of styrofoam and a stick.
Nice.
Being part of more of like the 3D printing community, I see a lot of that and I love it. When I went to Designer Con back in November, there was a booth of these guys who 3D print stuff, and they 3D printed a 2-scale Thanos' sword from Endgame. Like that
nice.
double-sided
The double
blade.
edges, yeah.
I have a picture of me on my Instagram, and I think I tagged the podcast in it, where I'm holding it, and it literally is, I think it was like 7 or 8 feet tall.
Nice.
It was huge.
Was
And
it like heavy?
Yeah. It
Nice.
was, they definitely, there's a, when you're 3D printing, there's a thing called infill where you kind of fill it in to where it's not very like brittle, and they definitely use like a dense infill in there because it was pretty solid. And but yeah, seeing those kinds of things where again it's right out of the page of a comic book or a movie, this weapon that shouldn't exist but
Is
it
now
does.
existing. I've seen Cloud from
Yes.
Final Fantasy. Oh, I don't. First of all, I was impressed that the kid was carrying it because the kid's my size. I'm not very tall, and he's got this sword that's like the size of a car,
Yeah, the Buster Sword.
and it actually lit up too. That was the cool part.
That's
About halfway through the con, he was like standing there posing, and then all of a sudden it was like, I don't know. I didn't look like he moved, but he must have hit something. So all of a sudden it went, shoo. And this like light just went from the bottom where his hand was all the way to the end, and I was like,
Nice. Okay, let's move on to our listener feedback, actually.
ooh yeah.
And now, let's see what all of our geek rock stars have to say.
Okay, for today's listener feedback, we asked a question: given unlimited resources, who and what would you cosplay as? Now, I apologize, I don't think I said why on there, so a couple people didn't take advantage of that. And
I think with this
put
one you don't
pictures.
really need a why. Just it's because it's cool.
I'm not reading it if you ain't got a why.
Oh my gosh.
Well, Courtney,
I make the
Courtney
rules.
gets to take this one anyway.
I get to make the rules. We actually did have a lot. Most of you put Y, so most of you are going to get red. Some of you aren't. Hee hee hee. So our first one is Jerry Cassidy. He says a doozer from the Fraggle Rock, which I totally dig.
That's
That's
a great
awesome.
I love
easy,
that.
Yeah, that's good.
Or the TARDIS itself with all the sounds needed and the ability to change doctor outfits every time I land and open the door.
Wow, that's some work.
I love it. That's
I
so
want to bounce
cool.
something off of that. I mentioned that I went to BlizzCon once. In World of Warcraft, there's these things called hearthstones, and they're literally just like a
TARDISes.
stone with a rune on it, and someone cosplay as that.
Oh,
like he
nice.
was just a big like stone.
big block.
Yeah,
That's
it was
awesome.
hilarious.
Awesome. So Mickey Rourke says he has several, but the one that we're going to talk about is good old Condor Man.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Thank
we
you.
That was
can't go an
epic.
episode without mentioning Condor Man, so we appreciate that.
our
He
contract.
said he feels that it would only be necessary. He would need good resources to pull it off because of the wingspan. It was one of the first live action superheroes from his childhood, and he'd like to bring it to life for a new generation.
And I know we mentioned it a lot, but if you have not watched Condor Man
Watch
or have not
Condor
watched
Man.
it in years, go do it. Is it on Disney?
I don't know. I don't think it's there, and I think they're wasting valuable
man.
resources.
We're
can
on
double
quarantine.
check.
We need to watch
We need
Condor Man on Disney.
I can double
Absolutely.
check. I have Disney Plus on my phone.
Daniel Houston says Batman because he's his favorite DC hero. Shocker, I know. I have never been able to cosplay before, so it would be really awesome for him to do. And Dub and Daniel went back and forth and decided
For a
that
while.
Batman Beyond was probably the coolest option to have.
If you have a beard.
So, Skeeter Thompson, we love you, but you just posted pictures of you in cosplay, which are really cool. So go to the site and check them out. But
There's a lot of
there's
grog.
nothing for me to read.
A lot of grod.
So thanks for the pictures, Skeeter. I appreciate them when I'm going through these. Tyler Romaine said that he finally has a psycho from Borderlands somewhat on point. He thinks he would like to move on to a perfectly screen-accurate Captain America from Civil War.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
And he was also like a legit Optimus Prime that has the ability to transform into a rolling semi-truck. Wow. And also,
Roll out.
right. And then this is actually my favorite. A very detailed Darth Riven.
Nice.
Yeah, right. We're all like, oh, yeah, that's awesome. Well,
Why did
good call.
I'm upset that none of us thought of it.
I know. I was like, oh, good call. Good call, man. Dino from the...
Podcast.
Yep. He said he's fairly simplistic and practical. He would like to do Malcolm Reynolds so that he can wear a brown coat every day.
That's awesome. I love
You
that.
don't have to cosplay for that. Just
Right.
saying.
You could be
no, no.
Captain Tight Pants
probably
without it.
get away with it. On like normal life.
Yeah.
Mostly.
But
just
if he
look at cosplay.
cosplays, people will recognize it. He can have the gun on his side. He can have so much fun with that, and then just randomly learn Chinese.
Well,
it's fine.
he's in
Right.
Florida, so I believe they have open carry. So I think he could
Yeah,
have
he's
a gun.
covered.
Yeah, he'll be fine.
Good to go.
Crystal Midget says Snow White with the red hair. Shirayuki.
Shirayuki.
There we go. Thank you for getting it
Yes.
because I was not going to get it right. She says it's a sweet anime and she's a wonderful character and her husband could play Prince Zen.
Oh, I'm jealous. I'm not gonna lie. I've always wanted a Zen in my life.
Catherine Winston, she says she's way too many options, but she came up with some really good ones. So right now she's working on an Effie from Hunger Games, which post pictures,
Ooh,
Catherine, when you're
I didn't
done.
even think of
Because that would be
Please,
super
that's a
awesome to
great
see. Velma from Scooby-Doo, Transforming Mystique, Black Widow, and then Anna Valerius from Van Helsing, which is
Oh,
the
nice.
Kate
That's
Beckinsale character.
I've
And that
seen
would be
some.
pretty awesome.
I've seen some great transforming mystiques. Like that is a super cool costume.
You said one. What was after the Mystique?
Black Widow.
Which Black Widow?
She just put Black Widow. So, Catherine, come back on and tell us which
Which
specific
one?
widow you were thinking of.
Because that's awesome.
We're curious. Christina Belden, who we love, says the TARDIS, but she wants to do a steampunk TARDIS. She does have several Doctor Who's, and she has one Captain America. But she felt like that was a stretch and just not right for the outfit. And that's all we have. And so we really...
Captain America stretch figure. Yeah.
We appreciate all your wonderful feedback. You guys rock the awesome sauce.
Yes.
And with that, let's go on to the main event.
Now it's time for the main event.
Okay, on this version of the main event, we asked the question of each other to name our top 5 cosplays that we would like to attempt. Now, some of us took this a little differently, and I had things that I have attempted, and then some of us put things that we could actually pull off, and some people did stuff that couldn't pull off in a million years. I'm just saying, because they wanted me as Plastic Man, I could just never pull that off. I want to. That's not one of my picks. I'm not using that.
Nope, that's his number 5.
That's
No.
number 5.
No, my number 5 is going to be the cosplay that I have done several times in high school because it was easy and because there was always that one guy at the party that did this all the time.
There's like 2 or 3.
It was the Crow because it was easy and it was like goth and cool. But it was so much fun to do because I always had the leather stuff and you put on the white face paint.
The Gen Xer's favorite hero.
Absolutely. Not millennials, Gen Xers. I know some of us are upset about
Yeah,
this.
you guys can take your crappy movie cosplay all you want.
Oh, I'm going to stab him with a pen.
All right,
With
Hobo
a
Joe.
pen.
I have to say, I did love The Crow, the first movie.
Oh, the rest of them
I
sucked.
didn't. Yeah, okay.
We don't talk about the other.
I-
That's why you
those
get
don't
to
exist.
stay.
I'm hoping that they reboot it really soon because they need to.
They were going to, but they've nixed it
Yeah.
because it was going to be Momoa. It was going to be
Oh, that
The Crow.
one. That would be interesting.
but it's been
I've never
put
seen
on
a super
indefinite
buff
hold.
crow.
They could
It's usually very middle.
cast Peewee Herman in that role, and it would still be better than the original.
You can shut your foul mouth right now. I'm going to shave your beard while you
I
sleep.
don't know. I really like Peewee Herman.
I kind of want to
Now-
see this
I
now.
was like,
There you
now I
go,
really
see?
want to just see
I-
it, just to see it.
Paul Rubens, if you're listening, let's make this happen.
Dang it, Blaze! Yeah, I hate you sometimes.
I was like, does it have to be Peewee Herman?
No.
Well, yeah. In leather.
Nice.
No, his regular suit, just the face makeup.
Paul Rubens, seriously, if you're listening, man. First off, if you're
Black
listening,
bow tie.
awesome. But if you're listening, let's make this happen.
That would be the coolest thing in the world to find out that Paul Rubens was
Paul
listening to our
Rubens
show.
was listening to our podcast. That'd be so amazing.
We get some people that listen to our show that kind of hide out. And we
And we
we've all
love you and
discussed it,
appreciate you.
But we don't mention it on air because it's kind of crappy. But if
Yes.
he was one of those people, I would just die.
That'd be amazing.
Oh my gosh.
Amazeballs.
Go ahead.
My number 5 is Takaya from Moana, who's also just Pele, the goddess of fire. But I would want to have like the lava and figure out how to do lava flow and all that kind of cool stuff. So
Would you prefer the lava or the greenery?
it would be easy to do Tafiti because you could just put garland around your head, everything. Takaya is the lava monster.
So you would rather do the
Yeah, I
lava.
would like to, because I also
With the
feel like
LED
Takaya a
light
lot of
up
time.
and the
I'm a cranky lava monster most of the time, anyways, so it fits my personality.
What would be cool
Well,
is
we didn't want to mention it.
I know.
it would be cool if you could figure out a way to make like a transitional costume.
That
Like
would-
To
one
go
that
from
was
Takaya to
Tafiti.
Tafiti. Yeah, that'd be very cool. I saw one, I think it was San Diego Comic-Con, because, they always take pictures and send them out, and she actually had a half and half.
That's
So
yeah.
half of her body she did Takaya, and the other half she did Tafiti.
Wow.
Which was very cool. I'll see if I can find the picture and I'll send it to you.
Yeah.
It's very neat.
My 5 would be different versions of Harley Quinn because, like I said earlier, I have a Renaissance one and a ballet one, and I want another one now.
And are you going to post this on the iHeart Geek page?
I can't.
should.
I don't have good pictures of them. Unfortunately, when I'm in the costume, I forget to take a picture.
Yeah.
I get so excited of where I am and where I'm going, so I'll have to do it, dress up again soon, and take a picture of it.
Outstanding.
My number 5 is the number 1 hero himself, All Might. I would love to do both forms, like
At the same time.
at the same time.
I actually have a vision of this right now. I don't know how it's possible, but I have a vision of it that would be
Well, you could
awesome.
do. Anyone who's watched the show knows that in season 3, when he fought One for All, he had that moment where he was like in both forms, like in his strong form, and like something like that would be super cool to do.
Nice. This is from My Hero Academia.
My Hero
If you
Academia.
don't know,
If you're not watching it, you should. Be
there is a show. This will be a topic of discussion
Yes.
very soon.
I think it's on Funimation as well.
Yes, it is.
I was like, I have it. I've been watching it, rewatching it.
Okay, so number 4. My number 4 is Little Mac from Punch Out. Yes, it's green shorts and a black tank top, but I have this idea, just being able to do the jump punch and maybe have a huge Soda Popinski or something that's like 8 feet tall, and I just have to jump up and punch him in the face. That's what I want to have.
fine.
A cool version of that would be if you've ever played Smash Brothers. You know how you can change the way they look?
Yeah.
If you did like a black bodysuit and then the green lines, so it looks like he's the like the data version of
Oh,
himself.
yeah.
That would be cool.
That would be very cool.
My number 4, I had one and I changed it, then I changed it back. So I would do Captain Carter, where it's Peggy Carter is
Yes.
becomes Cap.
You were arguing with yourself about
I was, because I
Yes.
really I want to do the other one, but you guys know how much I love me some Peggy Carter, and we're getting the What If series, so we get to
Yeah.
see Captain Carter.
That's gonna be awesome.
I would love to cosplay as Captain Carter.
Nice.
So that'd be
we
my
get
thing.
Captain Carter and Steve Rogers as Iron Man in that series, which would be awesome.
I'm excited.
That's wow. All right, I like that.
It's very cool.
My number 4 is Black Cat from the Spider-Man universe. I just love Felicia. I don't know. I'm obsessed. I love her. I'm actually working on that one right now.
Which version? Are you talking the Amazing Spider-Man version with the original cartoon one, or
So the cartoon one where she's got like that one leather suit with like white fur
The white
coming
fur.
out
Yeah,
of
yeah, yeah.
everywhere.
That's
That's the one.
that's the one?
Now there is
With
a
the
version.
Super 8. Yeah.
Yeah, there is a
Yeah.
version of that I actually like better a little bit. She's got like a one big black leather thing on, but on top of that, she has another leather corset.
Interesting.
And I kind of want to do that version and just have the white fur go right up to the corset.
See, no, Black Cat. That's one of those like kind of dangerous ones because like, well, is it gonna be too sexy or just sexy enough? Because it could go over that line and
It
it's like,
can.
Have you played Spider-Man PS4?
Yes.
Hers in that is more tactical, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so
Absolutely.
something like that
That would be fun.
awesome to do.
I have to
because-
see if I can do that, though.
Yeah. Because then you kind of you get away from that whole line of it being too sexy, and she goes into more like cat burglar,
Nice.
tactical suit.
so more Catwoman than Black Cat. You know, the superior original
I wouldn't say superior.
that was copied by the Marvel copied
Oh,
from.
you mean the
made
one where she
better.
like cut up things and was crazy and she
No,
no.
not Selena Kyle. That one's stupid.
Yeah, you stick with your Halle Berry version. Yeah, you're good.
Michelle Pfeiffer,
Michelle Pfeiffer was.
Julie Newmar,
I mean, she did a
Julie
great.
Newmar.
Eartha Kitt.
I met Julie.
I was gonna say Michelle Pfeiffer did a great job of playing
yeah.
that crazy black cat.
Oh yeah,
Oh yeah.
But like I said, referencing back to the, cut up. I don't really want to cut up leather like that and have like.
That was a
weird nails.
raincoat.
It just-
It's just a raincoat.
she just did a raincoat.
That is the definition of cosplay, right? there.
Right, there you go.
Whose turn is it?
Flies.
My number 4 would be Thanos with the gauntlet.
Nice.
Like that would just be super cool, like we said earlier.
Would you
Even
3D print the gauntlet?
yeah,
Outstanding.
I actually have a gauntlet, so I would need
Would
to
you?
3D
No,
print.
I've
Would
seen
you?
it.
If you would do it, would you print it snapped or would you print it like you're about to?
I would print it snapped. Yeah, for sure.
Like this or like this?
Nice. Okay, my number 3. This would take 8 of my friends to do it with me, but I would like to do the whole Rainbow Lantern Corps. I want to be the Black Lantern because you can do so many cool things with that. And just have everybody be one of the lanterns.
That'd be
I think
cool.
it'd be a blast, and not necessarily like a Hal Jordan, but your take on a Green Lantern or a Yellow Lantern, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Your own take on it. I think that would be the most fun. Yeah.
Would you want them to be like in a t-shirt like you are, or actually full
No,
costume?
Full costume.
There you go.
That's what I wanted to do.
Full leather tight suits.
Yeah.
Spandex. No, I'm
Yep.
just kidding.
Lots of space.
Full Ryan Reynolds DC Universe suits.
Don't make
We
the,
don't speak.
Don't
of
make
Ryan
the suit
Reynolds.
green or animated.
Oh, jeez. Okay, and moving on. Thank you for crapping on me.
My number 3 is Captain Marvel, but the neon glow suit that she has from the end of the movie,
Yep.
where they're trying to change her suit from the colors from the Kree colors to what she wears now, and in the interim she gets that neon glow, and I would want to LED that sucker so that
Yeah.
you'd have all those neon rainbow lights coursing through the costume.
That would be awesome.
You liked hypercolor, didn't you?
I did.
And say what you will about that movie, that is the perfect explanation for
How
why a
she gets
suit
the
would
colors.
change from one color
There's
to
definitely
Yeah,
a lot
it
of things
is.
I
Yeah,
can say
I
about
actually
that movie,
rewatched
but
it.
I won't.
I actually rewatched it last night because it'd been a while since I'd seen it, and I just forgotten how much I just really enjoyed
Yeah.
how fun it is. So
Yeah, I like that movie. I know a lot of people don't, but if I can
I
get
do.
in,
a
We'll be
lot more.
buds.
yay.
I think a lot more people like it than you think. It's just people who don't enjoy strong female-led
Oh,
movies. Don't. It's
Yet I say Wonder Woman's one of my favorite movies ever, and no, we don't talk about that. That doesn't need.
Only I get to talk about Wonder Woman in Blythe's presence. He lets me do it.
she's the only one that gets a pass.
Yep.
Who's up?
Is it my turn?
Pixie Pool.
Yay! So because one of the lovely, lovely listeners actually referenced this, I switched my third one to a different video game character. I wanted to cosplay the Siren from the new Borderlands games.
Nice.
So you can play
Yeah.
her and you can customize her character, and I would play her as is with a different hairstyle with my long hair. That would be that. Oh, she's awesome. Like I would do the tattoo thing with the LED or whatever I can do it with if I could. That'd be awesome.
Nice. My number 3, and this is going to be a little bit of a plug for my friends that run Foolish Mortal Supply Co. It's a clothing thing that they do, but it's all Haunted Mansion themed. And one of the things we talked at Designer Con was me dressing up like the Hatbox Ghost and like running around the convention and just being that character would be super cool to try and pull off, because I just envision like
How would you make your head disappear and then jump into
so
the
what
box?
I would envision is doing some sort of like black face cover with like an LED face on it, and then you turn that LED face off, and then at that same moment turn one on in the box. So you get that effect of your head not being there and appearing in the box, which I think would be super cool.
But I would need your box to have the theme song.
Yes. Like, 100%. Yeah.
Walk around singing Grim Grinning Ghosts.
Yeah.
Outstanding. Okay, my number 2 would be, and I'd probably have to work out for another year or 10, would be Lobo.
That would be cool.
Yeah, not skinny Lobo.
You do love Lobo.
Yeah, I do love me some Lobo.
You do.
Mm-hmm. It's hard not to love me some Lobo.
I mean,
that's like
Lobo.
80s metal. That's just, yeah.
Yeah, I would just like to put out there, all of these cosplays definitely would have to work out for.
Yeah.
Some of these I'd have to grow at least 3 feet. So.
Yeah.
My number 2 is Wonder Woman. Duh.
Yeah, which one?
It's a hard choice, but I'm going to go with Golden Eagle armor, and I have to say
not the waistcoat one.
No. But I do have to say that the Golden Eagle armor looks like it's going to be very, very cool in Wonder Woman 84, and I'm very excited about it.
Me too.
But yeah, I mean, but I'd have to, a lot of working out, but I'd also have to grow like 3 feet for that one too. But yep, that's what I'd love to do.
So my number 2 would actually be Poison Ivy. Not the sexy slutty, like I'm not wearing anything you can see through my leaves Poison Ivy, but like actually having a whole bunch of leaves on and having the bright red hair
So
and the like
Uma Thurman-ish.
little bit, but more
Her
like
costume was actually very cool.
There's actually a comic book that, and I forgot which series now, but one of the comic book ones, she's wearing like the leaves just above her bra line area, and it's just, I think you're right, and I just love that version. Just fantastic. Her hair is just so long and luscious. I'm like, perfect. That's the one.
Very cool.
My number 2, and I know a lot of people aren't a big fan of this character, but Hydra Cap. Like when he went through that whole thing where he was a Hydra agent all along, but then he
worst series
That's because
ever.
it was a stupid plot line.
I get that.
Terrible.
That's why people hate it.
Him as a Hydra agent, like that suit with the shield with the Hydra logo in the middle of it.
Yeah, I mean that
that
I
looks
could
super
totally
cool,
get.
and
Yep.
I would like to do
But
something.
no one wants to remember that, so I don't think
No.
we should ever
That irked
That's
me.
like Ryan Reynolds doing Green Lantern. It's just something we don't talk about.
That's why in
It's bad.
Endgame they kind of thumbed their nose at it and had him do the Hail Hydra in the elevator. So
Okay, so up to my number 1, and that would be, I kind of used this before, but I would like to actually do Hal Jordan Green Lantern with the whole light show, have LEDs underneath everything glowing green.
Oh yeah.
that'd be cool.
When he's like overcharged with power, that's what I want to look like.
Very cool.
Just once. That would be like my life's goal.
My number 1 is Lady Rocketeer. Because in the comic books, Betty, his girlfriend's name is Betty in the comic books.
How creative.
Betty Page, actually, is her name. Is her literally the character.
Did she look like Betty Page?
She did.
She
She's actually based on Betty Page.
That's how the character was created.
That's outstanding.
Yeah, they just call her Jenny Blake in the movie, but her name's Betty Page. But at one point in time, she takes his coat and the rocket and the hat, and she has to go rescue him. And of course, in traditional 1940s pinup style, she doesn't have any pants on.
Outstanding.
I'm sorry, I'm still trying to work with that one. I'm like, wait, that's right.
Remember the coat stops in her booty.
My top pick would be Scarlet Witch, and I'd actually reference more of the newer one without the weird face mask with the pointy horn thing on it.
Which is going to be in WandaVision, and I'm excited about.
I loved the original, and then I saw the new one where she's walking around wearing like the scarlet coats and all these things, and I'm like, you know what? I'm not gonna lie, I like that look better.
You know which version I liked was the one from X-Men Evolution, the cartoon.
Yeah.
I really liked that one.
Yeah, I'm glad that they're going to be doing the like a callback to the
Yeah, they're
original
throwing
in
it
the
in
Disney
there.
Plus show. But I can see why something like that wouldn't transition to film.
No.
Just
No.
like how they took Thor's helmet out after the first Thor
Yeah.
movie
For
like
good
you,
reason,
You
yeah.
can't do.
And then we get the modified version of it in Ragnarok.
Yeah, which is
Yeah.
more. It's better because it's more tactical. It makes
Yeah.
a
Makes
little bit
sense.
more sense.
Yeah.
But that traditional helmet that's in the first movie, like I get it.
Yeah.
We don't need it. It's fine.
It's greatly referenced in Adventures in Babysitting, though.
Yes. Which is interesting because that's
First
Vincent.
appearance of Thor.
It's Vincent D'Onofrio
Yeah.
as Thor too. So there you go.
Good time.
I just blew everybody's mind who didn't realize that.
I just looked that one up actually a little while ago because I thought it was somebody else.
No, it's Vincent D'Onofrio.
Yeah, we were talking about
Yeah.
that. That's right.
My number one is a mashup. And actually, I've got something for you too.
Ooh.
Talking about. So my original number one is an Iron Man. And I would want to do the same thing as you. Do it with like 5 friends and do Iron Man
Iron
suits that are mashed up with the Power Rangers. To where
that'd
you
be
would
cool.
have,
That would be
like
fun.
the Morpher coin in the chest.
I'm in.
Think of that. But I would also like to see a mashup of Iron Man suits with the different
Lantern Corps.
Lantern Corps.
Ooh.
Like, can you imagine
Isn't
in
that
a
just
comic book
Voltron?
series where
Stop it.
in a comic book series where Iron Man gets one of the rings and he puts it on, and just like
He would
that-
be the Orange Lantern.
the LEDs coming from his suit were all that color,
That
and
would
then
be
the
cool.
emblem in the middle
I'm
would
in.
be the Lantern Corps symbol.
So when Marvel buys DC,
Yeah, when we get that
When Disney
eventual
buys
mashup
DC,
that
when
pretty
they've
Disney
soon.
buys it, yeah,
Which is probably coming.
yeah, that merger that
we-
they've been talking about,
we
this
will
might
be having
happen.
a show about that because that is a discussion we need to have.
Absolutely.
It's an
Yeah.
important discussion. So that is a show, guys.
Nice.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you, Ellie, for our Pixie. For
Pixie Pool.
For
Pixie
sitting down,
Pool.
talking to us. We appreciate it.
Yeah.
Hey, want to be on next episode?
Absolutely.
Sweet. It's amazing how that works out like
I
that,
know.
isn't it? Yeah. You think we do it on the same day or something?
Who knows?
So check out all our social media stuff, all our internet stuff, yada yada. Listen to the end of the show; you'll hear all that stuff. So until next time, I'm Dub.
I'm Miss Geeky Page.
I'm Pixie.
I'm Blige.
Keep on geeking on.
I need to do my hair.
You haven't.
You have been listening to the latest episode of the iHeart Geek Show. Make sure you visit our website at www.iheartgeekshow.com. Make sure to follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. And if you check us out on YouTube, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And keep on geeking on to all of you geek rock stars.